What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Couple Things.
With Shawn and Andrew.
Today's a fun one. Life advice from grandparents.
We asked social media for all the advice that grandparents out there had to share, and we included 22 submissions here. And we could do a part 2 if you want, because we got more than that. But these are really fun from our audience. People who maybe share our style, right?
Yes.
And are further on down the line. What I've realized is people call us lifestyle creators or influencers.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, the fact that we still do this is hilarious to me and a
Mhm.
little intimidating. I am honored, and we do take it with responsibility. But what I've realized is our style is not everybody's style, and that's okay.
Agreed. Totally fine.
But these people, this advice is from people who might share our style.
Or might not, but have wisdom for us to share.
That's right. We're going to go through these. But first, I want to talk about the featured comment of today. Vanessa4236 says, "Oh my gosh, I love the wedding crashing idea. I would have loved that. As weird as this sounds, I seriously think we would be great friends if we lived in Nashville or if we ever met in person. I'm married to my wonderful husband of 10 years, but 100% whenever we have a baby, I will send you an invite. And if you're available and you can make it, come on over and celebrate with us all. We will have a co-ed baby gender reveal, and it will be a fun party with lots of dancing and 100% celebration after so long. Haha. Seriously, we enjoy your podcast so much. Thanks for all you put out there. Y'all are so relatable. Thank you, Vanessa." We did start accepting any and all wedding invitations.
Yeah.
And we've started sending out wedding gifts on like a weekly basis.
Yes. It's a lot of fun.
Really fun. It's really fun. Do you have any life updates? I had this dog.
The dog. He's the best. He is. This isn't just like an excuse to say something, whatever. He is the best dog.
Yes.
Truly. He is so much fun. He is so sweet. He loves our children. He fits perfectly into our family.
It's amazing, honestly.
We are being humbled by, we forgot about the puppy face. So like I caught him in the backyard today shredding, like literally shredding to shreds our hammock. And then we have shoes that have gone missing.
Yeah.
He's deceiving because like he's so well trained and he's like kind of through the super beginning puppy phase.
Right.
That you're like, oh, he's just so well mannered. And then you're like, psych,
Yeah.
you're a puppy.
Yeah.
And he gets the zoomies, which are so fun. He just is sprinting laps around the pool.
He loves being outside. It's funny because the kids really have taken ownership over him.
They love him.
It is hilarious though. Jet does not remember his name ever.
Cooper.
He does not remember his name.
He calls him
this
Cooper.
morning even. I was like, Jet, do you like the new dog? He's like, yeah, what's his name? And then I was on the phone with my mom and she was asking about the dog and she said, what's his name again? And Jet said, Dad, can you whisper it to me? He whispered
What?
it. It's so funny, dude.
We need to have him repeat it like 10 times.
Yeah, I agree. But life is good. Nashville is in spring in its finest. Flowers are budding. Is that right? Flowers are blooming. How am I
They're
saying
more
that?
so budding.
Budding. And it's beautifully green.
Well, it
here.
is flowers are blooming, but they are budding.
Flowers are in bloom, and it's beautifully green here in Nashville. But we're excited for today's episode because we've been talking a lot lately about how grandparents are an amazing source of wisdom, and it led us to the idea of doing this episode where we're going to learn from grandparents out there who might listen to this podcast. So, we shared this on our podcast Instagram. Speaking of dogs, too, the dog Instagram is back in full force.
Wow.
Pumped about that. So that's the East Dog. The podcast channel is Shawn and Andrew Pods.
Wait, we need
have
to
so many
change
Instagrams.
the East Dog to East Dogs.
I agree. We have a lot of Instagram handles.
Too many.
I agree. Anyway,
The kids' ones are kind of retired.
we were, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
They went bye-bye.
Well, we only did that for a short amount of time.
And
then we
if they
realized-
want to use them themselves later on,
Got
we
'em.
can talk about it. But
Yeah.
they're done for.
Yes. Anyway, we were humbled to see the amount of replies of life advice from grandparents that were sent in. We also asked for a survey. We also asked on the survey for you to send in things you would love to have done differently as a parent and asked what keeps a marriage strong after so many years. So we definitely want to do a part 2 and share those insights with you
Yes.
all. But if you're a grandparent out there and you listen to our podcast or follow along with us, we just want to say thank you. We love that our online community is made up of people of all different age groups. I feel like our following is really unique. Many thanks to you, just because Some people found you through gymnastics, which tends to be a younger demographic. Some people found you through Dancing with the Stars, which tends to be an older demographic. And we've also heard some stories of grandparents who follow along with us as something fun to talk about with their kids.
Mm-hmm.
So
I
we're
met
humbled.
a couple grandparents at the airport who were like, "Oh, I listened to your podcast and I'm really excited to get Beam Kids for my grandchildren."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I
That's
had
so
no
fun.
idea."
I wanted to share some research I found
Okay.
that was interesting. So studies suggest that grandparents who spend time with their grandchildren may experience improved well-being and potentially live longer.
I get that.
We first came across this in a book called The Body by Bill Bryson, who was talking about the telomeres in the cells. It's like this cellular thing
Yeah.
that your cells are baked in with a certain length telomere. And as you age, the telomeres shorten.
Mm-hmm.
But they say, studies show that when grandparents spend time with younger kids, the telomeres stop the shortening process,
Which is wild.
which means that they might delay aging. Just fascinating. I do think, to me, my takeaway is community is really good. And like having a generational family is really good.
And activity.
Yes.
Like having grandparents chase around babies. Dude,
Mentally.
when are they ever going to do that?
Right. So the relationship appears to be mutually beneficial as well, enhancing both the grandparents and the grandchildren's lives in ways such as, one, longevity benefits. A study published in the Journey of Evolution and Human Behavior in 2017 found that grandparents provide occasional care for their grandchildren have a 37% lower risk of mortality over a 20-year period.
Wow.
The second way it helps, you can take this one.
Emotional health. Spending time with grandchildren can boost a sense of purpose and reduce feelings of loneliness, both of which are linked to better overall health and longevity. Another one is physical health. Like we were saying, physical activity and mental engagement during play and caregiving can improve cognitive function and keep grandparents active.
The fourth of 5 benefits is reduced risk of depression. A 2014 study found that close emotional bonds between grandparents and grandchildren were associated with reduced symptoms of depression for both parties over time.
And last one is stress management. Moderate caregiving helps reduce stress, which is linked to lower blood pressure, improved cardiovascular health, and stronger immune system.
Nuts. That's nuts.
That is nuts.
The power of community, huh? And relationships.
Also, it should go without saying, like, if your kids don't have grandparents, that's okay.
Yeah.
This is strictly for just, like, statistics.
Right. But get them around different types of people.
Yeah.
So, also, it should be noted that the studies do note that the quality of relationship matters. So, positive, loving interactions are what drive these health benefits the best. And I just think that's really cool. I think that's kind of like how we were made.
Agreed.
Is for relationship. Without further ado, though, let's get into some advice sent in from grandparents. Some of you all sent these in. You take the first one.
Diane. Grow with your grandchildren. Share experiences through growing years. Get on the floor with them, go outside, listen to them, and let them express their ideas and fears. Pray with them. Let them see you as a person with other people and be present.
I like that a lot.
It's very sweet.
I was thinking that today. I was debating on whether to take the kids to school on the bike today. And I was like, I could probably work on this, or it would be nice to just have some quiet time to myself or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, no, this is it. Like, it's right when I'm at the point of discomfort, of like wanting to pull away, that I should press in.
I know. I need to get better about that. We've talked about this.
Yeah.
I have always said, since I was an only child, my idea of play was a lot different because I was around so many adults. That like learning to like get on the floor and get on my hands and knees with my kids is, for lack of a better word, like a challenge. It's a new thing that I'm learning.
Yeah.
And I just want to get better and better at it.
You're doing great.
Thank you.
I also like, it's kind of a concept of include the kids in your world, and let them get to know your friends, the people that mean something to you. Let them see you at work, things like that. I like that.
Yeah. Next.
Beth, it takes a village. Don't hesitate to ask those older than you their thoughts or ask for help when needed, yet have healthy boundaries. I like this a lot too. Yeah. We talk about this with the postpartum.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, be willing to ask for help.
I will say it is different. We live in a generation that is different than our parents, where our parents came from a generation of not asking for help and not advocating for like a close circle or a community. And I feel like there's been a break in that generation to ours, to where ours encourages more of this, like, therapy, community, like all of this stuff. So I do think it's easier said than done. And it takes like an active step. It's not just like a common occurrence.
Yeah. But just remember that I think people interpret, hey, it takes a village to raise a kid as like, oh, the mom needs help or the dad needs help. But, and the village helping them will benefit the parent, but it also benefits the village. It's like kids are good for everybody. So include them as you let other people help them, everybody wins.
A lot of these are actually advice written to grandparents as well. So know that when we start going through some of the next ones. Marge says, don't expect your children to raise their children the way you raised them, and it will be okay. Help if you are able.
Which is really maybe a good thing. Like when I think of generation to generation passing the baton in a relay race, like things should be pruned out and things should be amplified, and that results in a different style.
Well, it also comes with the world looks different.
Yeah, in the context.
Yeah.
All right, this one's no name. We'll keep it anonymous. Constantly and consistently honor your parents and grandparents in front of your kids. Talk about what they taught you spiritually, emotionally, and physically. Share phrases that they say or said, and love is handed down generation to generation by the repeated stories we tell. Find out your parents' and grandparents' favorites Bible verses and help your children memorize them. What's written on our hearts will carry us through anything.
Wow.
That was amazing.
I love that.
Love that.
It's actually interesting, something that I haven't thought about. We talk about this a lot. We were told in premarital counseling, like, never speak poorly about your spouse in front of other people. And we say that now, like, in front of our kids. I do not ever believe in like venting to your kids about their father or your husband or vice versa. But to keep that consistent with like all family, to make sure they're not overhearing like you had an argument, or, always honor those above you and within your circle.
We were just talking about, I was thinking about this when I was writing the eulogy for my dad. Like the stories that you remember and how those stories occurred really makes a massive difference. So amplify the ones that are
good,
honoring. Also, there's this super fascinating article, I think it was in the Huffington Post, that talked about the 22 questions that if a person knows the answer to the 22 questions and they're all family related, how did your parents meet? What happened on the day of your birth, et cetera, that there's all these positive life correlations in regards to like earnings and education and lower crime rates, et cetera, just because it's a reflection of having that family community around you. So I think she wrote that perfectly.
Yeah.
Next.
Tina. This is to grandparents. Treat all grandkids equally. They know. Trust me.
I'm for this.
Well this should go into parenting as well.
Yes.
No favorites ever. Don't even allow yourself to like in your mind be like, well, this is my favorite, I'll just never say it. No, you just like, it's not an option.
I think though, equal standards, different styles though,
for sure,
right? Because the needs of the kid will be different.
Love them equally by investing as much effort into each of them uniquely.
Yeah. Jill, do not buy your grandkids big gifts. Spend more time creating memories. An example is for Christmas, we do not buy gifts. Take them to sporting events, help them learn to ski, take them to Disneyland, local jump park, hike a national park, take camping trips, go ice skating, whatever. I love that. Those are the stories. We talked about stories.
Yeah.
The stories related to gifts, I think they kind of exist, but way less depth than the experiences and stories from being together.
Agreed. Christine, you know that feeling when you capture the perfect moment and you keep revisiting it in your camera roll?
Yes.
For me, it's a picture of our daughter Drew with our new puppy just smiling, looking so happy. Or it's the picture of all of our kids literally cuddling on the couch for the first time as
That's adorable.
siblings.
I love that picture.
It's the background of my phone.
I love both of those. But here's the thing. Every time we looked back at it, we were zooming in, scrolling just to see the details. That's not how you revisit your favorite moment. A photo like that shouldn't be buried in the camera roll. So we printed it with Fracture.
And these photos are seriously amazing. They're beautifully printed directly on glass. And best of all, they're ready to hang straight out of the box.
If you're like us, you probably have thousands of photos on your phone.
Yep.
Your best moments deserve to be seen. Just go to fractureme.com, upload your photo, and choose a size. It's that quick and simple.
Yes, and right now, Fracture is giving our listeners 25% off their first order. Head to fractureme.com and use code COUPLE25 at checkout. Rescue your best moments today.
We've shown you some of the prints in previous episodes, and
Yes.
the color is vivid. It is
Yes.
beautiful. They're awesome prints. Check it out, fractureme.com. Next, Brandy says, gentle parenting seems like a fabulous idea, and parts of it are, but preparing children for life that isn't gentle should be incorporated. Life isn't always fair, equal, blessed, or euphoric. There has to be a middle ground. I agree. Gentle parenting, for those who don't know, it's like a lack of disciplinary action, and it's more of a, oh, hey, I see you made that bad choice. How are you feeling?
Yeah.
It's over-indexing the emotional side of things
Mhm.
rather than just like painting, hey, this is right and this is wrong, black and white. Discipline looks different, but it should be present, I think.
Which I would say we do what Brandy said. We mix both. It's a lot of communication of like why and how,
For the
but then
self-awareness.
also very clear boundary lines of like, we don't do this. And here's why.
I think teaching a kid a framework for right and wrong, or the understanding of right and wrong, is important. And whether they agree with it or not, or change it when they get older or not, still it trains them to know right or wrong.
Mm-hmm. Terry, forget the tidy up. Cliche, but spend time with your children. And don't skip pages during bedtime story just to get away. You'll miss it.
Dang, that hits.
I have had the thought, this is something that you and I should talk about, but like a lot of times our nighttime routine gets dragged out, whether it's like through play or through, whatever. We will stretch it out as long as possible. And then all of a sudden it's like, okay, we got to go to bed. And I have a goal of when we get into even though we've probably read stories and books already, when we get into bed, we read a book every night.
Yeah, I've been working on that myself.
Yeah.
I like that goal. Deal.
But it's hard because you find yourself as a parent at the end of the night being like, okay, we're already 30 minutes like over bedtime.
Yeah.
Let's just go to bed.
Yeah, and you're like, all right, we've been hanging all day.
Yeah.
This needs to end.
Yeah.
Let me rush this process. But
yeah.
bedtime is special because it's the kids are just in a different phase during that time of the day.
Yeah.
Maybe more playful, maybe more cuddly, whatever. It's just a unique phase. So I would like to relish that a little more. Kim says, travel near and far, take the children and explore. The money will come and go, but the travel memories last forever.
Amen.
We just read this book called Die With Zero, and it's all about the emotional returns that you get on something, or the emotional deposits. And so if we take a trip right now, we will be able to make emotional withdrawals from that memory for the rest of our life. So if we live to 93, we'll have 60 years of like positive emotional withdrawals from the trip we took when we were 33, as opposed to saying, oh, we shouldn't take this because we're saving up.
Mm-hmm.
And now maybe we take the trip at 73 and we only have 20 years of emotional withdrawal before 93. Obviously, we're advocates of financial, stewardship, but traveling is not necessary. I do think it's an interesting format to break routine and to spend intense, focused, intentional time with kids. That's what it's been for us.
Agreed.
It's like you're out of the home routine. You're out of going to see the neighbors or going to school or whatever. You're together.
I think I would take it a step further on my side, and I would say I would highly advocate for this.
but not everyone's going to be able to travel.
I agree.
Actually,
I think it's more just like the adventure side of like go camping or get out of your routine, like you said.
Yeah.
But I just notice how often our kids talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Danelle, don't always give advice on your children. Don't always give advice on how your children should be raising their children. Encouraging them and always remembering to tell them how proud we are of them for raising these little human beings is really important. Also tell the grandchildren what good parents they have. Love that.
The sense of respect and honor.
Yeah.
Good there. Paula says, find a good church. Keep your kids more involved there than anywhere else. It's the best decision you'll make as a parent. Stop giving your kids everything. It makes for selfish adults. They never have to work for things or earn them. They never learn to appreciate anything. Raise kind, well-behaved children. Our kids do benefit from church. I think even at a young age, dropping them off there help with the separation anxiety that the kid experienced. So then that prepared them for like the mom stay out school program that they do, and they've socially benefited. I think they've become more confident being by themselves or with a group of children without us. And church is kind of the first sample of that. And they also will come home and pray a prayer that they learned at church or sing songs that they learned at church. Is great.
Dorothy, always communicate with your spouse. When speaking to your children, when they have misbehaved, try to whisper to them so you remain calm and the children have to listen. Yelling never works, and you are not setting a good example for your children.
I think this is what was earlier referred to as there's aspects of gentle parenting that are good.
Yeah.
Yelling is not good.
Agreed.
Yeah, yelling is not good. Listening to them.
Communicating.
Yeah. It's like, hey, let's help build an awareness. But there are certain tools that do that more effectively than others. Suzanne says, your most important gifts to your children are 1, teaching your children the why you believe what you believe of your faith and talking about it. 2, loving your spouse and prioritizing your marriage over your children. I like that.
I like that. Rachel, don't rush through in a hurry to get to the next phase. Know that you are their world and you are everything to them.
This is hard sometimes.
It's so hard.
Dude.
Like I'm in the hardest phase as like for me with Bear. The age 1 to 2 is so hard for me.
They're not communicating yet. They're into everything. He's dangerous. Like he'll stand up on things he shouldn't.
The separation anxiety is like at an all-time high. It's just like, this is my hardest phase. And I catch myself being like, oh, I can't wait till you can talk or like whatever. Like, no, I need to slow down.
It's right when I start feeling that like internal angst or anxiety or like the internal panic. That's where I'm like, okay, let me conquer this and let me be with the kid, you know. But I think of that Trace Adkins song, You're Gonna Miss This.
I know.
Which helps keep my check. All right. Joy says, write down the cute things your kids say you think you'll remember, but you won't. I agree with that so much.
I know.
She says, just write it on your calendar. Listen more, shorten the lectures. You've lost them at 20 seconds anyway. Have expectations and make sure that the kids clearly know them. Don't have any negotiations, no second or third chance. They know and follow through until they do what you've asked. I agree.
We agree with all that.
We started an email address for each of the kids that I'll just do a little voice note to anytime they do something cute or memorable or like a milestone. And that has been one of the best things I've done as a dad. Because I really thought like, oh, I'm going to remember this forever with this moment. And then you really don't.
I know.
Like the next thing happens and the next emotion comes and it washes the specialness of that away. So try that out if you want. But I do voice to text, which makes it pretty quick process and effective.
Cindy says, enjoy every moment with your family. Find out the way that they are bent and lean into that. What worked with my son didn't work for my daughter, and I wish I would have been more aware of that when I was raising my kids. I get it. Find out their unique qualities and foster those. Yeah.
Yeah.
Andrew and I have been working really hard on that with our kids, trying to constantly remind each other of like, this is what works for this kid, but not this kid, and vice versa.
I recently had the revelation that parenting is so difficult because if you have multiple kids, each kid will require a different parenting style.
Yeah.
And each phase that an individual kid is in will require a different parenting style.
So it never stops.
It's always changing.
Yeah.
Christine says, always have a united front when raising your children. Our children always understood that mom and dad were on the same page and an agreement so that there was never a good or bad guy feeling and a good guy or bad guy feeling, and ensured that our children knew that they couldn't play one parent against the other. If one of us was feeling like it was too much, we would pause and discuss between the two of us before talking to the children.
Love that.
I think that's really good.
Andrew and I do that with the whole like team. We're a team. So it's always like, well, what did mom say? What did dad say? And if one of our kids is like, I'm like, let me go ask.
Yeah. I think that's been a valuable practice.
Yeah.
Our pillow game was absolutely tragic
Tragic.
before we found Lagoon. Are you kidding? Sleep is one of my favorite things on this earth, which is why when it comes to picking my pillow, I now don't mess around.
I'm right there with you, which is why I'm pumped about these Lagoon pillows that we have right here. I'll just hold it up so you can see it. They're big. But you guys need to try these for yourself. They will change your sleep. I'm not going to lie. I used to be pretty cheap when it came to buying a pillow. And
like $5.
I honestly felt the effects.
Yes.
I would toss and turn and get really warm in the night or wake up with a kink in my neck. And now I generally don't do that anymore since switching to Lagoon.
I feel like I was either sleeping on concrete or sleeping on a piece of paper. So I agree. Lagoon pillows stay cool, and they're the perfect height for your neck because you can adjust the fill inside, and you take a 2-minute sleep quiz to get matched with the perfect pillow before buying anything at all.
So Ryan is the guy who founded this company, and he wanted to make sure that their pillows really felt custom to each individual person because everybody has different preferences when it comes to sleep. And that's why he and his wife tested over 60 pillows before selecting the best lineup.
If you love sleep as much as we do yourself a favor and take Lagoon's quick 2-minute sleep quiz linked in our show notes to find out what pillow is best for you.
Feel the difference with a Lagoon pillow. You'll never go back. Head to lagoonsleep.com/EastFam and use code EastFam for 15% off your first order. Take our word for it and try it yourself.
Seriously, go now.
They're great.
Stacy says, try and plan something special for one-on-one time with kids and grandkids. It matters, even when they're adults. Do group things too, but making memories is vital for everyone. Time is a thief, and we never know when our time will come.
Thank you, Stacy.
Wow.
That one hit.
3 more.
All right, you're going to rush through that one?
I just agree. Wholeheartedly.
It is very special, and I think our kids now realize how special it is to get one-on-one time.
I know.
And so we try to make it a very celebrated time and make them know that they're worthy of that celebration and worthy of the one-on-one time.
We need to do more dates. We used to. We haven't in a while.
It gets harder, dude.
It does.
But yeah, I agree. We should fight for that. Vicky says, always listen to what your kids are saying with their words and actions. Pray without ceasing for the plan God has for their lives in order for them to prosper. Pray against deception. Pray that above all, your children will have a passion to love and serve God. Why is prayer important? Let me tell you. I think it's like you're being reflective. You're being intentional. You're setting a vision. All of that is really inherently good. I think when you add on to that, you're welcoming in this mystical, magic, wonderful, miracle potential of God. The whole thing gets amplified drastically.
I agree.
So I like this one.
It directs your thoughts.
This is what we learned about from the dissertation. Like there is a psychological truth to the benefits of prayer. Next.
Angie, there's so much to say. My husband and I started dating when I was 13 and he was 14. We've been married for over 30 years. I have 2 children and 2 grandchildren.
Congrats.
I'm also a middle school special education teacher.
Amazing.
I know you didn't ask for my background, but there it is. My biggest piece of advice is to truly enjoy every moment and don't sweat the small stuff. Give your kids as many experiences as you can, whether it's close to home or a little further away, depending on your resources. Take lots of pictures, but make sure you teach them consequences to actions, good or bad, and that they respect. And that respect goes a long way. Also, not every adult deserves your respect.
Honestly, that's a pretty good foundation for parenting right there.
I like that.
When I hear truly enjoy every moment, I used to interpret that as try to have a smile on your face through the whole thing. But what I've realized is you can enjoy the process of helping your kid when they're injured, or like you can enjoy that.
You can enjoy the hard dinner that you had.
Yeah.
Or the temper tantrum and
It's not always the giggle happiness or enjoyment.
And you
It
don't
is
have to
okay.
enjoy it in the moment, but you can reflect on it and be like, that too, I love.
Yeah. Liz says that life will continue to have hurdles and challenges. You grow and learn from each one. When you take a look back, you will be amazed at what you made it through. I love that. We just did an episode on the cliches of marriage, and one of them was quitters never win and winners never quit. And it's like, you don't really get to make it through the hurdles or the challenges if you tap out. So keep pressing forward, because those are the good times.
I feel like the summary of all of those is try not to rush it. Soak it in.
I have a friend who has a tattoo. It's 3 triangles, and one is kind of like shaped differently. And he talks about how it's past, present, and future. And the present is the hardest to relish, but the most important to be in. Hayes has that tattoo.
Love that.
And I just, I don't know why it's so hard to be present,
It is.
but there's always something to worry about, but you'll never get now back. Anyway, thank you for all that life advice and the grandparent advice and the parenting advice and the marriage advice. It was really good. Would love to hear your opinions on anything that struck you as relevant or applicable. Would love to hear any other advice that you have to give us. And if you made it this far, please subscribe to the show and give it a rating on whatever platform you're listening on. That was a fun one.
That was fun. I
love
loved
you,
it.
babe. And I love you.
I love you.
That's all we have. I'm Andrew.
I'm Shawn.
We'll see you next time.